Hey guys, picture this, an unassuming patch of swampy land, silent under the Nova Scotian sky. But beneath its muddy surface lies a secret, something ancient, unexpected, and potentially explosive. In this week's explosive episode of The Curse of Oak Island, the team makes a find so distinct, southwest radically out of place, that it might just rewrite what we think we know about who visited this mysterious island, centuries ago. Buckle up, friend, because we are about to dive deep into The Curse of Oak Island Season 12, Episode 21, and uncover what could be a medieval game-changer. Now, if you've been with the Leginas and the crew from the beginning, you know Oak Island isn't your average treasure hunt. It's a swirling vortex of mystery, legend, and heartbreak. It's swallowed lives, fortunes, and more than a few hopes. But just when it feels like the story's gone quiet, boom, a new clue rises from the muck and throws everything back into question. That's exactly what happened in this episode. While digging near what might be a man-made dam in the northern stretch of the infamous swamp, metal-detecting maestro Gary Drayton and landowner Tom Nolan unearth what looks like an iron socket. It's odd. It's ancient. And it's definitely not just a chunk of rusted metal. The longer Gary looks at it, the clearer it becomes. It might be a piece of an old musket, specifically, a ramrod guide. Let me pause here, because this is huge. A ramrod guide is part of a musket used to load ammunition, dating possibly back to the 16th century. That's pre-money pit discovery. That's Templar-era stuff. If that's what this artifact truly is, it could be a remnant of a very specific kind of visitor, armed, secretive, and possibly guarding something priceless. Could this be evidence of a knight's presence on Oak Island? Could this weapon part link us directly to the Templars or even the Knights of Malta? And guess what? That wasn't the only mind-bending moment of this episode. Just steps away, the team discovers a weathered brick, old, handmade, and eerily similar to those that once lined the top of a previously unearthed vault-like structure. Yes, you heard that right. A vault. Earlier this year, they uncovered a slate and brick structure that looked every bit like a storage chamber for something important. But this brick, it wasn't part of that structure. So now we have to ask, could this be a second vault site? Tom Nolan certainly thinks so. And remember, his father, the legendary Fred Nolan, long suspected multiple treasure caches on the island. This could be a point in Fred's favor. Are we finally closing in on physical proof of his bold theory? What makes this even wilder is that these finds were located near what some believe is the dam described on a 14th century map, a map said to be drawn by the Templars themselves, recovered and given to the team by the late Sina Halpern. You can't make this stuff up. Now let's shift our gaze westward to Lot 5, a place that's been quietly yielding some shocking historical goodies. Jack Begley and archaeologist Fiona Steele continue their excavation of a mysterious circular feature near the shoreline. It's a simple-looking pit on the surface, but oh man, is it deep in story. Over the last 2 years, this site has produced strange soil matches to the money pit, a 14th century lead barter token, and 4 Venetian trade beads, rare, valuable, and historically tied to the Knights Templars' European connections. There's even a button with a counterclockwise starburst pattern, a design possibly linked to the Knights of Malta. As Fiona digs, her trowel scrapes across something solid, a square nail, aged and worn. But not just old, pre-1795 old. Based on its texture and bubbling metal degradation, Fiona suspects it's even older, maybe colonial, maybe medieval. Just as that info starts to sink in, she hits on something else. A bead. Not just any bead, this one is different. It's not like the previous Venetian beads. It has striations, tiny spiraling lines indicating it was wound, not drawn. That means it was made by literally wrapping molten glass around a metal rod, an older, more labor-intensive technique. And get this, wound beads predate the ones found earlier. But the real twist comes when Emma Culligan and Laird Nevin analyze it in the lab. Emma uses X-ray fluorescent spectrometry, that's some serious science, and what she finds is shocking. This bead has 26% potassium. That's unheard of. Most others. 10% at best. Even more startling. It has almost zero sodium content. What does that mean? This is not Venetian glass. This is something else entirely. It's forest glass, made from ferns, not sand. A technique strictly from Northern Europe, especially the medieval period. That's right, friend, we're talking potentially 1400s medieval craftsmanship. So now the question becomes, what was a medieval Northern European bead doing in a pit on Oak Island, decades, maybe centuries before the discovery of the Money Pit? This isn't folklore anymore. This is scientific, data-driven evidence that people with advanced knowledge, and possibly secret purposes, were here. Possibly hundreds of years ago. Possibly with treasure, or guarding something even more important. And here's the big takeaway, my friend. Everything is connecting. The ramrod guide near a suspected man-made dam, a brick linked to a potential second vault, a medieval nail, and now a wound glass bead from Northern Europe, all of it points to one overwhelming conclusion. Something very old, very intentional, and very valuable happened here. Something that left behind whispers of the Templars, the Knights of Malta, and other secretive orders who may have traveled across oceans not just to bury treasure, but to bury truth. Now, while most shows would stop at a single mind-blowing discovery, the Curse of Oak Island keeps stacking the puzzle pieces higher and higher. The presence of this forest glass bead, with its strange chemical makeup and unmistakable medieval fingerprint, is a potential paradigm shifter. We're no longer talking about vague legends or shadowy connections, we're talking about tangible proof. Proof that someone with old-world knowledge and craftsmanship set foot on this island long before Columbus ever dreamed of sailing west. Think about what that means. This wasn't just a pit stop for fishermen or fur traders. This was a carefully chosen site, manipulated by intelligent, possibly elite operatives who may have carried secrets with them, secrets powerful enough to warrant concealment for centuries. That swamp. It may have been engineered. Those bricks and vaults. Purposefully constructed. And this bead. Perhaps dropped in haste, or placed with intention as a calling card, a subtle trace left behind for those with the eyes to see it. It's also crucial to understand the importance of Lot 5 in this broader narrative. This isn't just another dig site, it's fast becoming a historical time capsule. Each new artifact adds a layer to the story. The diversity of materials and designs, from Venetian beads to Northern European forest glass, suggests multiple waves of visitors over time. This wasn't a one-and-done event. Oak Island may have been a staging ground, a hidden waypoint for organizations operating across generations. Possibly religious, possibly military, definitely secretive. And this brings us to a larger question, one that every Oak Island fan has wrestled with: what exactly is buried here that's worth all this effort and secrecy? Gold? Religious relics? Ancient manuscripts? Or something even more abstract, knowledge? The kind of knowledge that could shake the foundations of history, faith, or power if ever brought to light. That idea isn't as far-fetched as it once sounded, especially when discoveries like this bead and the Templar token keep surfacing. Let's not forget, the Money Pit itself was designed with extraordinary complexity. Flood tunnels, booby traps, layered platforms, it's the work of minds trained in engineering, logistics, and deception. That's not pirates with shovels. That's not colonial explorers hiding a chest of coins. That's a coordinated operation by people who knew exactly what they were doing, and who wanted their secret to stay buried. As we dig deeper, literally and figuratively, we're entering the realm of intention, not coincidence. The deeper layers of the artifact-bearing soil show a chronological progression, a layered narrative of occupation. The artifacts are talking to us, if we're willing to listen. And every find is a whisper from the past, urging us to piece together the full picture. What were they hiding? Who were they protecting it from? And could we be standing on the cusp of finally answering those questions? So, to my fellow truth-seekers, explorers of the unknown, and weekend archaeologists, keep your eyes open. Oak Island is far from done speaking. And if the clues we saw in Season 12 Episode 21 are any indication, the island might just be ready to tell us everything.